Selena Potter began sharing a story about her child, Christine, while the kids played nearby. Christine was a bright and cheerful 8-year-old with a gentle personality and an eye for color and creativity. Selena. It all began about 18 months ago, she said warmly. Chris was 7 then. My husband was away on business again, and I had tickets to a matinee of Swan Lake, performed by our local ballet company. I decided to take Chris along. I've always loved ballet, and I thought it might be something special we could share. Beth nodded. That's such a beautiful idea. Selena smiled softly. It really was. We've always been close, with my husband gone so much. Chris and I spend most of our time together. Beth smiled back. You must be so proud. It sounds like you've built something wonderful together. Selena nodded. I am. He's creative, thoughtful, and loves expressing himself. I feel lucky. The women paused and watched Christine laugh with another child as they played with dolls and dress-up toys, lost in imagination. Selena continued. The performance was breathtaking. Chris couldn't take his eyes off the dancers. When the curtain fell, he turned to me and said, I want to do that. It was the first time I'd ever seen him that excited about something. She laughed. I didn't even hesitate. That week, I started searching for local dance studios. There was only one nearby, run by a lady named Mrs. Clements. I called and asked if I could enroll Chris. She sounded surprised, since most of her students were girls, but I told her he was very eager and well-behaved. She agreed to let him join on a trial basis. Selena smiled at the memory. She mentioned that everyone wore a standard dance outfit and proper shoes, and she'd send me more details by email. I agreed, grateful for the opportunity. When I told Chris, I half expected him to hesitate, but instead he just lit up. Christine, excitedly. Oh, thank you, Mom. When do I start? What dances will I learn? Selena laughed. That's when I knew this wasn't just a phase. He had found something that made him truly happy. Selena smiled as she remembered those first days of preparation for the dance class. Selena. The questions came nonstop, she said with a laugh. Chris was so excited that I could barely keep up. We were starting in just a few days, but first we had to get his outfit and dance shoes. The next afternoon, Selena met Mrs. Clements, the instructor. In person, the woman turned out to be far kinder than her businesslike tone on the phone. She ran the studio with great care and insisted that all students wear the same uniform and follow the same discipline. She believed that matching attire helped the kids feel equal, Selena explained. She even had a rule she called ribbon discipline, which meant everyone kept their hair neatly tied back so it wouldn't distract them. Selena thanked her and promised to bring Chris to class the following Tuesday. When they got home, Chris could hardly contain his excitement. He wanted to see what his dance outfit looked like and imagined what the class would be like. Selena recalled, smiling, he twirled around the living room and asked, How do I look, Mom? He was glowing with pride. I'll never forget that smile. That evening, they read through the studio's welcome email together. It included all the usual reminders: arrive early, bring water, follow directions, and one detail that caught Selena's attention. Students needed to keep their hair tied securely for practice and performances. Chris's hair had grown a little longer than most boys his age. His father often teased him about it, but Chris liked it that way. Selena turned to him gently. Looks like we'll have to make sure your hair stays out of your face for class. We can either cut it shorter or tie it back neatly. What do you think? He thought for a moment, then grinned. Let's just tie it back. I don't want to cut it. Selena smiled. All right then. We'll make sure you look ready for class. She paused for a moment as she told the story. That was the moment I realized this wasn't about rules or ribbons. It was about letting him discover who he was: confident, curious, and brave enough to be different. Selena took a deep breath as she remembered that afternoon, the one that quietly changed everything. Selena. I want to get the things we needed for class: hair ties, a brush, and a few ribbons. When I came back, Chris was sitting on the floor, waiting patiently. She smiled softly. I brushed his hair back so it wouldn't get in his face during practice. He sat perfectly still, proud and curious. When we finished, he turned to me and asked, "How does it look, Mom?" Selena's eyes grew tender. I told him he looked wonderful. And I meant it not because of how he looked, but because of how happy he was. For the first time, I saw pure joy on his face. That kind of happiness changes you. Later, Chris stood in front of the mirror, testing how the style moved when he turned his head. "I like it," he said simply, smiling at his reflection. Selena nodded. "Then that's what we'll keep. Whatever helps you focus and feel confident." That evening, he watched TV still wearing his practice outfit, talking excitedly about what the first class might be like. Selena watched from the kitchen doorway, realizing this wasn't just about dance. It was about watching her child step into something that made him feel free. Before bed, she asked gently, "Did you enjoy your day?" Chris grinned. "Yes, Mom. I can't wait for class." Selena smiled back. "Then tomorrow, we'll practice again." She paused as she retold it. That night, I realized something. Sometimes love means letting your child explore who they want to be even if it surprises you. You just hold space for their happiness, and somehow that's enough. The next morning, Selena and Chris were still glowing from the excitement of the dance class plans. Selena. I told him that if he wanted, I could show him how to take care of his own hair so he'd be ready for practice whenever he liked, she recalled. He smiled shyly and said that would be nice. They decided to make a fun shopping trip out of it. After breakfast, Selena said, "Let's go to the mall and get a few things for your dance lessons." Chris nodded enthusiastically and hurried off to get dressed. Selena chose simple, comfortable clothes that were easy to move in, perfect for a kid about to spend a day exploring stores. At the mall, they stopped by a shop filled with colorful accessories and art supplies. Selena picked up some hair ties, a brush, and a few items that would help keep Chris's hair neat for class. She let him pick colors he liked. He was thoughtful about it, she said. He wanted to choose things that would help him feel ready for dancing. Afterward, they grabbed lunch and wandered past a display of character pajamas and dancewear. Chris looked at them curiously, clearly imagining the upcoming recital. Selena smiled. It was nice seeing him so excited about something that brought him joy, she said. When they returned home, Selena helped him brush his hair again, keeping it neat and out of his face. They spent the rest of the day together, playing music, practicing a few dance stretches, and laughing at old movies. That evening, while they relaxed on the couch watching The Little Mermaid, Chris looked up and said, "Ariel's hair moves so nicely when she dances under the sea. I wish mine did that too." Selena smiled warmly. "Maybe one day it will. For now, we'll just take good care of it, and who knows, maybe we'll find a costume wig like Ariel's for fun." She paused as she retold it. It was just one of those small, perfect days, the kind where you realize your child isn't just growing up, they're becoming who they really are. The next weekend, Selena and Chris's creative bond grew even stronger. "Selena. He asked if we could do a Disney-themed weekend," she recalled with a smile. "So I surprised him with some fun costume pieces and matching toys. We spent 2 whole days acting out scenes from The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, and Beauty and the Beast. It was such a wonderful, imaginative time, just laughter, music, and storytelling." She laughed softly. "He even wanted to take pictures of our little play-acting adventure, so we made a tiny scrapbook together. It's still one of my favorite memories." As the conversation returned to the upcoming dance class, Selena admitted she'd felt nervous about how the teacher might react to Chris's enthusiasm for creativity. "I wasn't sure how Mrs. Clements would take it," she said. "But I reminded myself that what really mattered was that Chris was happy and confident. He'd found something he loved." When they arrived at the studio, several children were already warming up. Chris greeted a friendly girl named Charlotte, and the two started chatting right away. Mrs. Clements smiled as Selena introduced herself. "You must be Chris's mom. We're excited to have him join us," she said warmly. Selena felt the tension leave her shoulders. "He's been counting the days," she admitted with relief. That first lesson went better than either of them expected. Chris followed every instruction, danced with focus, and left the studio beaming. Selena smiled as she remembered that first dance class. "Selena. When Mrs. Clements greeted us, she said kindly, "What matters here is that every student listens and enjoys learning." I could have hugged her. 5 minutes later, Chris was on the floor learning his first ballet steps. To Selena's surprise, he picked up the movements quickly. During breaks, he talked with another student named Charlotte, and soon the two were laughing together like old friends. Toward the end of class, a woman approached. "Hi, I'm Belinda, Charlotte's mom," she said warmly. "Your child seems wonderful." Selena smiled. "Thank you, Charlotte's great too." They really clicked right away. The conversation flowed easily. The parents discovered they had a lot in common, and before long Belinda suggested grabbing pizza after practice. That simple invitation became a weekly ritual. All summer the kids practiced together, Selena recalled. Sometimes they brought coloring books or toys, and Belinda and I would talk about life and parenting. It became this unexpected little community. When Belinda mentioned that Charlotte attended a nearby private school, she invited Selena to visit sometime. Selena thanked her but decided to keep Chris at their local school. She wanted things to stay simple. Throughout the summer, Chris's father phoned from his work trips. Selena told him about the dance classes. He wasn't thrilled at first, but she reminded him that lots of kids, boys and girls, took ballet to build balance and confidence. Eventually, he agreed to let Chris continue. By the end of the season, Chris had found real joy in dancing, and Selena had found comfort in seeing her child grow more confident each week. By the third practice, Mrs. Clements gathered the parents to explain the upcoming end-of-term recital. "Mrs. Clements, we'll be performing a few short pieces to show what the students have learned," she said. "Please read the handout for details about the dances and stage outfits. Keep makeup minimal and make sure hair is neatly tied back so it doesn't block vision. We'll need a couple of parents to help students change between numbers." Selena skimmed the paper. There would be 3 performances, a cheerful spring number, a short version of Swan Lake, and a dreamy finale called Sky Dance. Belinda, Charlotte's mother, leaned over. "Don't worry about the logistics," she whispered. "I can help with the costume adjustments. It's easier than it looks." Selena smiled gratefully. "Thank you. It means a lot." Watching from the corner, she saw Chris laughing with the other children, practicing spins and steps, completely in his element. The sight made her heart swell with pride. On the drive home, Chris couldn't stop talking. "When do we start rehearsing for the recital? Can we pick out the costumes soon?" Selena laughed. "One step at a time, superstar. But yes, we'll get everything you need." That night, as they brushed their hair before bed, Selena said softly, "You really love dancing, don't you?" Chris nodded. "Yeah, it makes me feel free." Selena hugged him. "Then we'll keep at it. You've found something that's yours." The two shared a quiet moment, grateful for how something as simple as a dance class had brought them closer together. The months that followed were a turning point for Selena and Chris. "Selena, after the recital," she said, "something changed in both of us. Chris had found his passion, and I found joy in watching him grow into it. He practiced constantly, learning new moves and trying new styles, ballet, jazz, even tap. Their home slowly filled with music, dance shoes, and laughter. When Selena's husband decided not to return, she focused on rebuilding life for just the two of them. "It was hard at first," she admitted, "but Chris kept my spirits up. Watching him dance reminded me that starting over can be beautiful." The recital itself was a success. Chris moved with confidence and pride, glowing with happiness when the audience applauded. Belinda congratulated Selena afterward. "You've done an amazing job raising him," she said kindly. "He's polite, hardworking, and he clearly loves what he's doing." From that day forward, Selena and Chris became part of a close group of families from the studio. They spent weekends at rehearsals, art fairs, and little performances, sharing food and laughter. Selena smiled as she remembered it. "For a long time I thought I had to fit some perfect picture of family life," she said. "But I realized all that really matters is giving your child room to shine. If they're kind, confident, and happy, you've done enough." The story ended not with costumes or labels, but with understanding. A parent learning to let go, and a child learning to soar.